good. As a check of our forecast, anytime we have looked at the radar today, it does not take long to realize we are on a rainy stretch.
Yes.
I know. I considered going out to get some breakfast this morning, and I saw the rain coming down, and I said, you know what, cereal's fine.
Exactly.
Not worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, tomorrow it might end up being a bit of the same, especially for areas in eastern Maine where the rain is going to linger. But yeah, much of the day, the radar has looked like this. If you were in the mountains, you were able to escape some of the rain later this afternoon, but heavy rain, especially along the coastline and in down East Maine, where we're expecting the highest rainfall totals to be when all is said and done. And we still have a lot more moisture that we're dealing with. This front stretches all the way down towards the Gulf of Mexico, and that's how we're getting a lot of that southerly moisture being able to pull into this system and why we have so much moisture to work with there. So overnight tonight, we're going to continue seeing more rain, especially along the coastline and especially in down East Maine there too. And this rain is going to continue throughout western Maine as we get into the morning. But by the time we get to around midday, that's where we end up with kind of a split state forecast. So by midday, western Maine and areas back into New Hampshire will be able to dry out a little bit, though still cloudy for much of the day, whereas eastern Maine is going to start a bit of a transition into some snow. Now our temperatures are going to be high enough in southern Maine where we won't be able to see much accumulation really at all, but there is a chance for a coating and up to about an inch or two in areas in northern Maine where it's a little bit cooler. So that's why we're also expecting kind of the highest totals of precipitation to be in this area because that's where it's lasting the longest. So rain will continue. This is Friday there at noon, transitioning into that snow as we get into the evening. At this point, western Maine has completely cleared out of this system. At this point, continuing overnight there, and so by the time we get to the day on Saturday, it looks like a better day than we were looking at previously in this week. We end up with mostly sunny skies closer to the coast, a little bit of cloud cover lingering in the mountains. It is still going to be a bit breezy out there, but overall looks to be a better day now. And then Sunday, we do have a chance for a little bit of snow possible, just a couple of flurries in southern Maine. I'll talk more about that in a second. So in terms of the rainfall totals that we're looking at here, so this is going to be additional to what we've already had. Not as much in western Maine because we aren't expecting the rain to last throughout the day on Friday, but in areas like down East Maine and northern Maine, that's where we're expecting about 1.5 to 2 inches of additional possible rainfall. And that's why we also have a flood watch in effect because we could see some areas like stream flooding or low level areas because of all the rain. So now this is Sunday. A couple of snow flurries are possible throughout the day Sunday, so that's why I think Saturday looks like a better day now. But overall, the weekend has been improving kind of each day this week. Now, I do want to mention quickly about the wind, because tomorrow we're looking at a wind gust about 25 to 30 miles per hour during the afternoon, which is going to continue into the day Saturday. So that does make it feel a little bit colder and not quite as nice. I would say Saturday is about, once again, 25 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts, and then we start to calm down a little bit to Sunday. And honestly, Monday looks to be the best day of next week because we have another big storm to talk about next week. So marine forecast, got that gale watch. That's not going to be in effect until Friday at 11 a.m., but will last until Saturday around noon. So in terms of our 7-day forecast, today and tomorrow, not the greatest days out there if you had any outdoor activities planned, though it's nice that the weekend has been continuing to improve throughout the week. Definitely breezier for the day on Saturday. Then a couple snow flurries possible Sunday, though overall, in total, I think it looks like a pretty decent weekend, Brian and Amanda, but the signals next week are pointing to a pretty big system midweek, so we're going to start watching that in the weather office.
Yeah, another week to keep us busy.
Of course.
Dana, thank you.